Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. It looks like we picked another popular topic to talk about, given our registration numbers for this one. The topic for today, as many of you already know, is how to integrate BMC Remedy with any third-party system in 5 minutes. And I'm going to assume that many of you are already users of BMC Remedy, or plan to be, and perhaps that's why today's webinar topic was so appealing. My name is Guy Nadivi. I'm the Senior Director of Customer Success for Ayehu, and I'm joined today by my colleague Tom Melnick, Ayehu's Senior Sales Engineer. Together we'll be providing you a brief PowerPoint presentation followed by a live demo that I think you'll find very interesting, especially if you've struggled with integrating third-party platforms to BMC Remedy. As always, I want to let everyone know up front that if you have any questions during the webinar, please submit them through your chat client on the GoToMeeting panel, and we'll try answering all of them during the Q&A portion of today's webinar right after the demo. Now we're going to do something a little bit different today. Before we get started, we've got a quick little poll question for you that we'd like to display on your screen right now. So please take a moment to give your response, and then we'll look at the results right afterwards. So how many monthly tickets are created every month? Okay, wow, some very heavy ITSM ticket users among our audience today. More than half of you do more than 1,000 tickets a month. Very interesting. Okay, thank you for taking the time to go through that poll. Oops, let me just get us back online here. Okay, so let's start with a brief introduction today about Ayehu. We were founded in 2007 as a bootstrapped startup by our two founders, Gabby and Yaron. We publish a platform for IT automation and orchestration, and it provides organizations with a virtual operator that augments their existing staff. We have well over 100 customers, and we experienced over 250% sales growth last year. Automation is becoming kind of a big deal. Our headquarters are in San Jose, California, smack dab in the heart of Silicon Valley. But we also have offices in Midtown Manhattan for our sales and professional services teams, as well as Tel Aviv, Israel, where we conduct R&D. And we are funded by a Silicon Valley VC, most recently one called BGV, that's led by Eric Benamou. Some of you may recognize that name from when he was the CEO of 3Com Networks and Palm Computers, and he's now the chairman of our board. And finally, we are very proud that Gartner named us their cool vendor in IT automation last year. That's a little bit like being named Miss America if there was a beauty pageant for data center products. Okay, so we already know that BMC Remedy is a very capable, mature ITSM solution, and actually one of only 2 products in Gartner's 2016 Magic Quadrant for IT service support management tools. However, even Remedy's most enthusiastic advocates will admit that it can be difficult to work with and even more difficult to integrate with third-party solutions. If you want to integrate BMC Remedy with other platforms out of the box, how many choices do you have? Well, we can't tell for sure, but by all accounts, it's not many. In fact, the only out-of-the-box connectors we were able to uncover were for Microsoft System Center Operations Manager, often referred to as SCOM, and Microsoft System Center Configuration Manager, also known as SCCM or just Config Manager. But the reality is that there are many, many more systems, platforms, and tools organizations want to integrate with BMC Remedy. So what about just doing that via a simple one-way email integration? BMC Remedy and whatever other platform you want to connect with, just doing it via email. Well, that's pretty tough to do because BMC Remedy does not have an email parser. So if there's very few options available out of the box and there's no email parser to do simple one-way integrations with BMC Remedy, what options do you have left? Well, one obvious option is coding your own integration. Yeah, I'm sure all of you are real eager to head down that path. Even if you're not, though, let's explore what that would entail. Okay, let's go and code our own BMC Remedy integration. What language choices do we have to work with? Well, according to a document we found on BMC's website, these languages can all be used to varying extents for building an API-level integration to BMC Remedy. You've got all the usual suspects here, including C, Java, Perl, Microsoft.NET, Python, Jython, PHP, and Ruby. But guess what? The only languages BMC actually supports are the first 2. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the various pros and cons of building an integration to BMC Remedy using one of these languages, please visit BMC's website. However, don't be too surprised if documentation on this is sparse. I'm told by one of our customers who is very technically proficient and explored building his own BMC Remedy integration that there is a stark lack of documentation if you're actually thinking of doing this on your own. After exhaustively researching this option, his organization opted not to go down that path, which I think is very telling. But wait, there's more. If you decide to build your own integration to BMC Remedy, you not only have to be a competent programmer, but you must also be an expert BMC Remedy administrator. Additionally, if you want to use their web service, it will require that you create an object for each form, which can cause maintenance nightmares. And of course, there's the issue of handling all the variables Remedy defines per form, which means dealing with hundreds of hidden fields. And finally, outbound actions are limited and still require expert coding plus advanced Remedy knowledge, and outbound actions are also associated with each form, adding even more overhead to an already significant maintenance burden. Now, there is one other option to keep in mind. You can always contract BMC Professional Services to build a two-way integration between Remedy and whatever else you're interested in connecting it to. Then again, you won't be surprised to learn this option is definitely not cheap. So we're going to show you an alternative way to integrate things with BMC Remedy today, and it includes a peek at the future of intelligent automation. And we'll see that with just a few more slides and then a live demo. So one of the keys to plugging BMC Remedy's integration gaps is providing lots and lots of third-party integrations right out of the box. And again, you're going to see that in action shortly. And when you do, what you'll no doubt notice about our intelligent automation solution that makes integrating BMC Remedy with just about anything else super simple is that it does so using just one integration point with BMC Remedy. All of these systems you see on your screen are currently available for integration and with BMC Remedy, and many more are being added all the time. So we're just about to go into the demo, but before we do, I want to give you a quick overview of the platform you'll be seeing demonstrated. It's not just a tool for plugging BMC Remedy's integration gaps. It's actually an overall intelligent automation platform that can do quite a bit for your IT organization. So the bedrock of our solution is the iShare server and the robust field-tested mechanisms that caused Gartner to name us their 2016 cool vendor in IT automation. Now you add to this the numerous integrations we provide out of the box with third-party systems so that this can be your single pane of glass for orchestrating automation throughout the enterprise for both network and security operations. And number one on this list, of course, as you can see, is BMC Remedy. You'll see that we include an easy-to-use interface to rapidly assemble workflows and playbooks without requiring a single line of programming code. We also include a centralized event dashboard and ability to extend iShare automations outside of IT by using a self-service portal, and to also extend iShare functionality when necessary using web services APIs. Put it all together, and you have a powerful, proven framework for automating IT processes, for automating cybersecurity incident response, and we can even extend this framework to eventually automate many, many other things. And what that all means for you is you've got a very powerful, proven solution that can add a lot of value to your IT organization. And with that, we're going to switch over to a live demo now. And while we're transitioning, we want to do one more quick poll about BMC Remedy tickets in your organization. So let's go ahead and put that poll up on the screen. And if you could, please take a moment to respond to the question, what is your #1 ticket category people request within your organization? Okay, it's kind of all over the map. So looks like the top two categories are password reset, always a popular ticket request, and other. So those two alone account for 80% of all ticket categories. Interesting. Okay, and with that, I'll ask the team to go ahead and transition control to Tom Melnick, our senior sales engineer, and he's going to give us a live demo. Take it away, Tom.
Okay, so hopefully everyone could see my screen. Thank you, Guy, for the introduction. So during the demo today, I'm going to show you the iShare solution, of course, and the BMC Remedy integration, and of course, how to integrate it easily with a third-party tool. In this case, we're going to demonstrate how to easily integrate BMC Remedy with SolarWinds Orion and perform incident response in a bi-directional manner with both systems. So, of course, introduction to iShare. iShare is an IT process automation solution. It allows you to automate any actions that you would like to in a data center, from incident response to help desk issues, to virtualization, and of course, anything that you can think of or could do in a scripting language. However, iShare is a visual tool that involves zero scripting. So whatever you'll do will be using our out-of-the-box content, which I'm going to show you right away. But first, let us integrate the two platforms, BMC Remedy and SolarWinds Orion, for you guys to see how easy it is and how quickly we can integrate those two platforms in a bi-directional manner. So first of all, I've created previously two devices that we're going to be integrated with. So first of all, this is the BMC Remedy server, which is the AR server for BMC Remedy. And the other one is the SolarWinds server, which is the SolarWinds database that we're going to be integrating with. Now I'm going to move on to the modules window, which will create the integration. Let's start with BMC Remedy. Now here is the module selection window when you can select which integration you'd like to create. By selecting BMC Remedy, what we're going to do is basically create a listener to any incoming tickets from BMC Remedy, and also a way for us later on to open, update, or perform any actions from iShare to BMC Remedy. So let me put in my credentials for the AR server. And in about a couple of minutes, this integration should be live. And now we're going to create the same integration, but for SolarWinds Orion, which will allow us to poll for any alerts from that particular system, or of course, acknowledge alerts from within the workflow, and I'm going to show you how right away. Again, we're going to pick our SolarWinds server. Input that information in here. And now we have created the two modules. Both of them are up, as you could see, and we're able to poll for any alerts or tickets from Remedy, and alerts, of course, from Orion. Now, you also could, of course, design which filters or which tickets you want to poll for, and we're going to show you that in a minute. But now, let's go, first of all, to the iShare Workflow Designer to showcase how easy it is to actually build these scenarios. So let me open a new workflow. And you could see here that this workflow designer has a toolbox on the left-hand side, when you could see all the activities or all the out-of-the-box content that we provide. So if you're going to look at a new workflow, you could see on the left-hand side the BMC Remedy activities. And to open a ticket, what we'll need to do is only drag the Create Record activity to the center, and of course then populate, select the form name and populate all the fields related to that particular form. So if we select the HPD help desk ticket, you could see that we could populate all the fields, whether they're custom or default, in that particular form. We could populate them using either hard-coded values or dynamic values. Same goes for opening, creating a new work log, getting tickets based on a filter from BMC Remedy. So again, if you select the help desk form, you could create a filter based on any field in that form, and then of course work with that data or result set that you'll get in order to parse the information. Now, for the sake of the demo, of course, I'm going to show you the SolarWinds activities as well. The SolarWinds activities allow you to acknowledge alerts, to unacknowledge them, put nodes into maintenance mode, and of course, get alerts or node, and query SolarWinds for more information about them. So I already pre-created or pre-configured the two activities for creating a ticket and help desk ticket in BMC Remedy with the following fields such as description, detailed description, first name, impact, last name, and other fields as well, of course. And what we're missing is only fields for description and the detailed description. Now, how are we going to get it? So iShare, once it gets alerts from SolarWinds, iShare pre-parses that alert into variables that represent any field within that alert. Same goes for BMC Remedy, of course. Now, if you'd like to create a full description for our particular incident, what we're going to do is we're going to create a runtime variable using an activity called setMemory. We're going to call this variable desk, and we're going to pick a SolarWinds field or a SolarWinds variable for that particular instance of an alert to add it to the description that we're going to use in BMC Remedy. Now I'm going to select the entity caption, which represents the object which is down in SolarWinds, and of course the host name, which will be related node caption. So our description would say a specific service is down on a specific host. Now we're going to use this description in the BMC create record activity. We're going to enclose the description between percentage characters, which means that we're referencing to the value of that particular variable. Now, for the detailed description, we've used the SolarWinds Orion variable or field, which is called triggered message, that gives a more detailed explanation of what happened in that particular incident. Now, what we're going to do as well is, of course, create a work log, same way as we've created a ticket using HPD work log form name, and we're going to populate it with the description being the description that we've said before, and of course we're going to reference to the just opened ticket for that particular issue. So that's how they're going to be connected to one another, the work log with the incident ticket that we've just opened. And one last thing that we will do concerning this particular demo is acknowledge the alert in the end in SolarWinds Orion. So we're going to select an Orion variable named alert ID, and we're going to say that we have acknowledged it by iShare. Now, from here on now, we could also perform a service restart for that particular incident or whatever it is. But now let me walk through you how do you actually create a trigger for this workflow that we have called webinar demo SolarWinds Orion BMC Remedy integration to trigger in iShare. So what we're going to do is create a new trigger, and in iShare it's called action rule. We're going to call it Orion alert create record in Remedy. We're going to create a new condition. We can call it the same name. IIS is down. Orion alert, IIS is down in this case. So we're going to create a condition saying if we get an alert from Orion, any alert, with the entity caption, which is the monitored object, that equals Microsoft IIS, This is the condition. Please trigger workflow named Webinar Demo SolarWinds Integration with BMC Remedy. Okay? So basically, if you'll receive an alert from Microsoft IaaS to iShare, no matter the device, iShare is going to trigger the workflow that's going to take care of that particular scenario by opening a ticket in Remedy, creating a work log for it, and of course acknowledging the alert in SolarWinds. For that purpose, we have a server that our SolarWinds instance is monitoring, which is this server, and it's monitoring IaaS and gives us, of course, an idea if it's up or down. Now, we're going to stop that particular service, which is the World Wide Web service. It stopped, and now we're going to help SolarWinds poll for this particular status, and eventually we're going to receive a status which is red, and we're going to see it in the alerts console. Currently, the alerts console has 3 previous alerts, and we're going to wait for a new one, which is for Microsoft IaaS. Let's take a look if the event was, yes, now it's SolarWinds is discovering this particular issue. As you could see, it is down. And soon, after the Worldwide Publishing Service is going to appear, and Microsoft IaaS is also going to appear. And after the Microsoft IaaS is going to, the alert is going to appear on the console, iShare is going to trigger a workflow that we've just configured, and you could see it in the iShare dashboard. Now let's wait for the IaaS to come in. This is for the World Wide Web Publishing Service. And for our particular alert that we have just triggered, a workflow was triggered as well. As you could see, we have an incoming alert from SolarWinds, alerting when an application goes down, and we're starting to execute the workflow that we have just created. So we define the description, which was Microsoft IaaS is down on host and the name of our host. Then we're opening a ticket for it, and we're connecting, we're creating a work log and connecting it to this particular ticket. Afterwards, we acknowledge the alert in SolarWinds. So if you'll go to SolarWinds now and refresh the alerts, you'll see that the alert was acknowledged by iShare. And if you would like to take the incident that we've just created in Remedy and paste it in the incident search in Remedy, let me just copy this. You'll see that we have created a ticket automatically for that particular incident. This is the triggered message that we received from SolarWinds. This is our description that we have defined in a custom manner. Microsoft IaaS is down on our particular host. And of course, the work log that we have created as well. As you can see, the ticket now is assigned. You can change to whom it's assigned in iShare, of course. And that's relatively simple, as you can actually perform all these steps using our workflow designer and perform it in the UI, which gives you a lot of room to maneuver, and you're not bound to any scripting language to perform these tasks. So a quick recap, of course. What we have created is a workflow that creates a ticket in BMC Remedy based on a SolarWinds alert. We're listening to any incoming SolarWinds alerts, and we've, of course, created a trigger for it. iShare triggers that particular workflow on any instance of an alert. These alerts could be different, since the condition that we've set was only for Microsoft IaaS, But obviously, for any other alerts, we'll be able to trigger a specified workflow. And we're also are able to connect iShare with any other integration or infrastructure application. For example, you could connect your BMC Remedy with VMware to provision new virtual machines based on an incoming ticket from BMC Remedy. You could automate password resets using iShare based on an incoming ticket from Remedy, and then, of course, integration with Active Directory. So if you'll scroll down here, or I'll scroll down here, you'll see all the out-of-the-box integrations that Guy has mentioned in the slide that contained all of our out-of-the-box content. So it's really easy to perform. As you could see, there's no scripting involved, and it's very important to emphasize that iShare doesn't have any scripting in it. You'll just have to fill out those fields, whatever fields you want in your or required fields that you have in your BMC Remedy instance, and you're good to go in terms of integrating iShare and Remedy with any other third-party system. It's that easy. It just depends what do you want to integrate your Remedy with. Thank you, Guy. And I think we can move on to the questions portion now.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tom. And you are correct. We now come to the Q&A portion of today's webinar, as I mentioned earlier. If you have any questions, just submit them through your GoToMeeting chat client, and we will take it from there. Let me get my screen back online. Okay. All right. We've gotten a number of questions that have come in so far, so let's go ahead and start working our way through them. Has Ayehu software been approved for use on Department of Defense networks? Not yet, but if that's something that's of interest to you, please get in touch with us and we can have a discussion offline. Next question. Tom, this one's for you. Are you aware of the REST-based APIs that are available for Remedy integration? These are available since version 9.x of the product. Does your product use these?
So thanks, Guy. So our product is using the API, the C API that was mentioned in one of your slides. So we have created the integration using that API since it was available at the time and more robust. In terms of REST API, our integration with BMC Remedy Force is actually based on a REST API. So another question that I've received just now is as follows. Is it possible to access the Remedy form from iShare without the admin access? Because when we tried in our customer environments, out-of-the-box Remedy from iShare, we're not able to access without the admin access. Yeah, so we don't need actually an admin access, but iShare has to be part of some groups. Depending on the types of tickets that you're interested in opening, such as problem tickets, incident tickets, change management tickets. And for iShare to be able to actually open or listen to incoming tickets, the account or the role has to be assigned to be able to listen to these particular records or tables as they appear in Remedy.
Hey, Tom, I'm back. Sorry, I accidentally dropped myself off there.
Okay.
Okay, did we go over the question about how many third-party platforms Remedy can integrate with?
Not yet.
Okay. How many third-party platforms can Remedy and, I guess, therefore, iShare integrate with?
So iShare can integrate with, or iShare and Remedy could integrate with countless applications. So as you could have seen, iShare has a bi-directional integration with BMC Remedy, and also iShare is a vendor-agnostic tool. So for our obviously out-of-the-box integrations, there's no problem connecting BMC Remedy in a bi-directional manner, as I've shown with SolarWinds. However, if you didn't see any particular tool in our list of integrations, don't worry. As I said, iShare is a vendor-agnostic tool, and you could connect to any platform that you might have via protocols such as REST or SOAP API or SSH, syslog or SNMP via email, of course, or any other CLI.
Okay, excellent. Next question. This is a very interesting one. Please tell me about performance expectations. I intake over 100,000 tickets a month.
Okay, thank you. So a bit more context for this questions would be appreciated. However, I'll try to answer it in a number of options that we have here. So depends on what you would like to do with this 100,000 tickets a month. So for some tickets, you don't have a use case, for example, or perhaps that you'd like to automate. For example, I need to know what type of tickets are there. Are there help desk requests? Are there knock or SOC requests? Or is it change requests or something else? So of course, iShare is not listening to all the tickets in Remedy. You could define a filter to listen only to the tickets that you know how to respond to in iShare. Since if iShare doesn't know how to respond, or if a trigger to a workflow wasn't pre-configured, iShare will simply drop these tickets. So for every ticket, an incoming ticket that you want to respond to with a workflow, you have to create an action rule, meaning a trigger in iShare, and that's how iShare will trigger the appropriate workflows. And in terms of the load, iShare can handle this type of load. We're scalable. You can add an mechanism called the iShare executor, which will spread the load between all the executors that for all the actions it receives to do from the main iShare engine, which is the iShare server. Okay, so you spread out these executors in your data center. Each executor is unique, so it can be hosted on one server. And then, of course, iShare will spread the load between these particular executors.
Excellent. Speaking of triggers, the next question is, can you trigger automation using the workflow that was defined between SolarWinds and Remedy, for example, bouncing the server?
Yes. So iShare can do that exactly the way I've done it in the example. For example, to bounce the server, iShare could receive either a request from Remedy to perform that action, or if it's iShare could also receive an alert for already an existing condition in SolarWinds and perform that particular action. So we could automate anything that you could do normally in a scripting language. However, as I've said, you could do it using our engine, which is the workflow designer, that has all these pre-built activities to perform this particular action. But yes, the integration is bi-directional. So either we trigger a request from Remedy to perform any particular action, whether it's in your data center or in SolarWinds, or vice versa. If you receive any kind of alert in SolarWinds, you're able to trigger workflow that will communicate with BMC Remedy.
One thing I'd like to add to that, I don't think we spoke about too much, is that iShare also provides a self-service portal. So a great way to take advantage of that bidirectional integration is if you want to extend an interface to your users to do some of their own, to trigger some of their own actions. For example, maybe a user needs to provision a VM or resize an already provisioned VM. You could provide them with a very simple interface. They could send that request in. It'll go to BMC Remedy. And that in turn will trigger iShare, which in turn is integrated with VMware and will take care of all of it. And it all requires zero human intervention from the help desk. Okay, I apologize. We seem to be having some audio difficulties. We're going to take the remainder of the questions and answer them offline in the follow-up email. My apologies again for the audio problems we're experiencing. Thank you all very much for attending today's webinar. If you can still see my screen, we encourage you to download a free 30-day trial copy of iShare and evaluate it yourself with all the features that you saw today to plug BMC Remedy's integration gaps. And that concludes today's webinar. Thank you all for attending. Have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next time.